Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Inshallah, you're all in the best of health and iman. I would like to extend a warm welcome to you all at the webinar Adjusting to Online Studies. Just a short advice for housekeeping. Please post your questions and queries in the chat box towards the end of the session, and we will be answering them inshallah. So today is the last of the series of 3 sessions to equip you with the tools necessary to study in a better way. And today's session will consist of an informative talk on the topic of midterm exams and followed by a questions and answer session. So taking it on from here onwards, we have with us the official counselor of IOU, Sister Saima Zulfikar. She works with students to help them cope with study planning, procrastination, motivation, and effective study strategies. Assalamu alaikum, sister.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullahu khairan kathira for the introduction. Bismillah, Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli, Rabbi zidni ilma. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters. I hope you're well, inshallah, and thank you so much for tuning in to our live today. That is getting ready for the midterm exams. So on the first day, we talked about using, how to use IOU student dashboard. In the second session, that's yesterday, we talked about how we can improve our focus and concentration levels to study effectively. And inshallah, in today's session, we will be concluding our series by talking about how we can prepare for the upcoming midterm exams, which will by a Q&A, inshallah. So without further ado, Bismillah. Okay, so how do we prepare for the midterms now that the midterms are fast approaching? What do we need to do? What do we need to know? And how do we study better so as to perform better? So I would like to divide this session into 2 segments. That is the first part being, how to prepare before the midterm exams begin, followed by how to prepare when and during the midterm exams are happening, inshallah. So tuning into the first segment, that's how to prepare before the midterm exams begin. The very first thing, the very first factor that we must be aware of is that we must know what to expect, right? So I'm assuming that this is your first time at the International Open University. So this is completely normal and completely valid for you to be a little nervous, to be uninformed about how the midterm exams operate and so on and so forth. So the very first advice that I have for you, brothers and sisters, is to know what the midterm exams behold. So just to review this quickly, the first thing that you need to know is that all streams except the bachelor's in Arabic language studies will have multiple choice questions during the midterm exams. So you will have a set of few questions, few MCQ questions, and you must choose the best answer so as to be graded. Your midterm exams will be automatically graded by the system. So you don't have to wait for the results to be out, because once you submit your exam, you will know the outcome. You will have about a total of 75 minutes to attempt all questions. So there's going to be a timer as soon as you open your midterm exam. The timer will be displayed on the right hand of your screen. So you will be updated every minute and every second in terms of how much time you still have left. And after 75 minutes, the quiz will automatically be closed. Then some questions. Now, in terms of discussing how the questions would be like, assuming that this is your first time at IOU, there will be different sets of questions, and all of these, of course, will be multiple choice questions, but they will have different styles. So some questions would be definitely a repetition from your module tests. So make sure before you attempt your midterm exams, you review all your pre-midterm module tests so as to, be able to recall. So make sure you review those so that inshallah you can answer the midterm exam questions properly. And of course, the other set of questions will be new, but there will be a mix of both repetition as well as new questions. Now, in terms of how the structure of the questions will be, it's mostly going to be based on these two structures. Firstly, you will have questions in the format of, choosing the correct option. So you will have, like, for example, let's say a question on what are the 5 pillars of Islam, and choose the best option. So you will have 4 options to choose from. So, for example, the first option could be Hajj. The second option could be, Aqidah. The third option could be Fiqh. And the fourth option could be, Islam. So amongst these 4, you need to choose the right option. That's, of course, Hajj. So just an example of how the questions could be like in the midterm exams. It will be based on this format. So majority of the questions that you will find in your midterm exam will be based upon choosing the correct option. And secondly, you will also have some true or false questions. So for example, you will be provided with a statement, and you may need to mark that as true or false depending on what the answer is. So that's about the structure of the questions in the midterm exams, inshallah. Next is again about how do we prepare before the midterm exams begin. It's all about studying the modules thoroughly. So a lot of students, struggle with understanding what to study for the midterms in terms of, do I just read the notes? Do I just read the slides? Do I just read the text? Or do I just watch the modules? Would that be enough? The answer to that, brothers and sisters, is no. So watching the videos alone or reading the course text alone, or reading your course slides alone is not sufficient for you to be able to pass your midterm exam. So make sure you thoroughly review each module as explained in the first session. Make sure you watch the module videos. You take your own notes, you refer to notes from senior students just to ensure that you haven't missed anything, and you read the course text. So once you complete all these steps, then attempt your module test so as to have like a complete comprehensive understanding of the module. So make sure, even if you're running short of time, make sure you don't skip your module videos at any cost, because these videos really help to clarify your questions. They help to understand a lot of doubts, understand a lot of concepts. So make sure you don't skip your module videos and don't take them lightly. Again, there will be some questions that may be asked from the course text. So a lot of students unfortunately skip reading the course text. Some questions can come from the course text, so make sure you read your course text thoroughly. Even though what would be covered in the module video would be, the majority of the content which will be based in the midterm exams. But however, there will be, a few questions that may just pop up from the course text. So make sure you have a thorough understanding of the course text too. And of course, once you complete, your module video, it would definitely be easier for you to read the course text, as there will be some sort of repetition. It will be just an elaborate version of your module video. Then, as advised earlier, and I'm going to keep reiterating this point again and again, brothers and sisters, make sure that you refer to notes from senior students. So since, if this is your first time at IOU, if this is your first semester at IOU, note taking can be really challenging, because this is a time when you're actually just, getting equipped with the study system. So it may be that you may find it hard to take notes, you may miss a couple of points, you may miss a couple of concepts, and that's okay, that's completely valid. valid. So in such cases, since this is your first time, make sure that you skim through the module notes from your senior students, and you can find these notes in the course notes section of your IOU student dashboard. Make sure you just read them so as to be sure you haven't missed anything. And of course, take your own lecture notes too. So while you're reading the course text and reading the notes from senior students, it can also happen that some concepts, some theories, some terms may be completely missed by your senior students. So make sure that you take your own lecture notes too as you watch the module videos. And when you're preparing for the midterm exams, focus on these three things, brothers and sisters. Focus on memorizing or learning terminologies, concepts, and theories. So, what do I mean by that? For example, in terms of, let's say, Aqidah, right? There will be a lot of concepts, let's say the concept of fitra. So make sure you are thoroughly aware and have thoroughly understood the concept of fitra. What does it mean? What does it include? And so on and so forth. Similarly, if you are a psychology student, make sure you are well versed with the different theories in psychology that have been taught to you in the module videos. Make sure you are well aware of these theories and how they work across. Next, focus on learning, memorizing, and understanding the Quranic ayahs and ahadith meanings, wordings, as well as their inferences. So what do I mean by this? For example, if you, in all your modules, irrespective of the course that you're taking, all of the courses that you are studying at IOU are taught from an Islamic perspective. So in your module videos, the lecturer may imply and use certain hadiths, certain ayahs from the Quran to support certain points. So make sure you write down those ayahs, write down those hadiths, as these can be asked in the midterm and the final exams. So usually, for example, what I have observed is, let's say, there's an ayah on. Let's say the ayah on fasting. So if there's an ayah on fasting, you may be asked which verse is this from the Quran? What's the verse number of this? So, for example, they will state the ayah for you completely, and they might give you four options as to which ayah is it. So, is it from Surah Al-Baqarah? Is it from Surah Al-Imran? And so on and so forth. Similarly, in terms of the wordings too, for example, they might eliminate a word from the ayah, and you might be asked to fill in that blank. And on other occasions, you may be asked to choose an answer, to choose a statement that explains the ayah, that particular ayah or that particular hadith. So make sure you're very well versed with the understanding of the Quran and these ahadiths. And finally, memorize the names of contributors, the prophets and the scholars who have been mentioned in your respective modules. So, for example, if you're a psychology student, you may be studying Freud's theory, you may be studying, Carl Rogers' theory. Memorize these names because you may be asked about these in your exams. Similarly, if you are an Islamic studies student, you may be studying about the works of Ibn Taymiyyah, his books, or you may be studying about other scholars too. So make sure you are well aware of these scholars, these contributors, and these prophets, as you may be asked about these in the exams. So just to recap, focus on learning the terms, focus on understanding the ayahs of the Quran and hadiths. And lastly, try to memorize the names of contributors, prophets, and the scholars who have been cited in your respective modules. Finally, now that we've talked about how to prepare ourselves before the midterm exams, let's also touch upon how to prepare for the midterm exams while we are attempting them. So here it is. It is all about prioritizing what and when to learn. So if you haven't completed enough modules yet and you have just a couple of few days left for your midterm exams, or if you're an IAP student, that's the Intensive Arabic Program student, and your exams have already started, then it may be beneficial for you to consider studying the difficult subjects every day. So, for example, if you're an Islamic studies student, you may have certain courses that are pretty much more difficult than other subjects. For example, subjects like tafsir, subjects like Arabic. So they might be a little bit more difficult for you to understand as compared to, let's say, Hadith 101, right? So make sure you give enough time to these difficult subjects and not keep them for the very end. So one way that you can study these difficult subjects is by dedicating 15 to 30 minutes every day to study that particular course. So if you're struggling with Arabic, take out 15 minutes or 30 minutes from your time every day to just watch a module. So you can just watch a part of that module and thoroughly understand that. Take your time to complete it and go over it again. So make sure you study those difficult courses every day while you are completing your other modules. So that's one tip in terms of studying difficult courses. Next, push yourself to complete a minimum of 2 modules every day. So this applies to students who've maybe taken 1 to 3 courses in a semester. However, if you are a full-time student and you've taken 4 to 6 subjects, then you may consider studying a minimum of 3 modules every day so as to be on track. And of course, you can definitely take a break once a week, maybe on the weekend. Find a day and just take some time out to relax. But in other days of the week, make sure you are pushing yourself to complete a minimum of 2 or 3 modules so as to be on track. Next, set aside 1 week in a day to skim through your notes. Now, I cannot emphasize the importance of consistent revision again and again. This is so, so important, brothers and sisters. A lot of students, a lot of us, and this is absolutely human and absolutely normal, a lot of us have the tendency to forget what we've learned. And that is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us, right? So this is when revision becomes really, really important. So if you are, let's say, studying the modules and doing your pre-midterm module tests, it's natural for you to forget about the concepts that you learned in your module tests during your midterm exams. So a way to keep remembering these concepts is to consistently revise them at least once a week. So set aside one day in a week, maybe just 30 minutes to quickly read through all your notes. For example, every Wednesday, 30 minutes just reading your Aqidah notes. Every Tuesday, just 30 minutes reading your tafsir notes, just 30 minutes. And you can do that whilst you're doing something else too. So for example, you can read your notes while, let's say, you're waiting to commute, or you can do that while you're sitting and trying to relax, maybe after Isha or after dinner. So just set aside 30 minutes to revise what you've learned. Next, if you're running short of time and you have the midterm exams coming up maybe in less than 10 days, in these cases, skip additional reading. So you don't really have to worry about reading the additional textbooks, the additional resources that have been provided to you. Just watch the module lectures, take your notes, study from your notes, maybe skim through the course text quickly and just skip through any other additional resources. And finally, for subjects like Arabic, fiqh, and tafsir, give them ample of time, brothers and sisters, because a lot of students struggle to prepare, struggle to be consistent, and struggle to study Arabic, fiqh, and tafsir because these subjects are naturally very, very tough. So make sure you give them ample of time, you give them enough attention, you study them every day, as suggested, maybe 15, 30 minutes every day, so that inshallah you're able to score well. So just to summarize what we've discussed, brothers and sisters, in terms of how to prepare for your exams, know what to expect, know what kind of questions would be asked, know what would be the time limit. Next, study all the modules thoroughly. So avoid skipping any module videos. Take your own notes, refer to notes from senior students, read the course text. And while you're preparing for your midterm exams, make sure you focus on learning terminologies, concepts, and theories. Focus on learning Quranic and Hadith meanings, wordings, and their inferences, and focus on learning the names of contributors, prophets, and the scholars. Lastly, prioritize what and when to learn. Give ample of time to courses like Arabic, fiqh, and tafsir. So, Alhamdulillah, with that, we've concluded our last session for tonight. Jazakum Allahu khairan kathira. If you have any questions, inshallah, I will be happy to answer them for you.
Jazakallahu khairan kaseera, sister. Alhamdulillah, that was very useful and beneficial, and I hope the students take the full benefit of it and perform well in the exams, inshallah. Students, this is the time to ask your question and answers. And of course, as we all know, the exams are just around the corner. So this is the best time to interact while the counselor is here so we can answer the questions, inshallah. You can post your questions in the chat now, inshallah. All right, sister, there's a question by Sister Khadija. I feel very nervous and can concentrate on taking the test if there is a certain time to complete it. Always asking about the time, how to get rid of this feeling, basically feeling nervous during the exams.
Jazakallah khairan kathira, Sister Khadija, for tuning in and asking this much needed question. So I do get asked this question really frequently from students. So if you think about 75 minutes, Sister Khadija, it's more than an hour, right? And you have around not more than 40 questions, I believe, in your midterm exam. So if you have thoroughly prepared for your midterm exam, I think that you would not need more than 20, 25, or even 30 minutes to complete the entire exam because the questions are really, really easy. But to be specific about your question in terms of the timer, what I would maybe suggest is to start practicing on overcoming that fear from now on. So, for example, what you can do is, maybe the study questions, right? The study questions that are provided under each course. Maybe you can, practice 6 questions, 5 or 6 questions every day, set a timer of maybe about 10, 15 minutes. And, once you set that timer and once you keep practicing consistently within that time frame, inshallah, you should be able to overcome that fear. So, with practice, you will be able to overcome that fear of that timer. And that's one way. The second thing that I would suggest is when you're attempting, before you attempt, before you choose your answers for each question, let's say you open your midterm exam, right? The first advice I have for you at that point in time is to read the questions. Just read all the questions. Don't think about answering them at that point. Just quickly take 5 minutes to skim through all the questions so as to be equipped about what to expect. And once you skim through all the courses, then take your time and attempt those, inshallah. So with that, it will be much easier for you to not panic about the timing, as well as be pretty much relaxed about answering your question. So I hope that helps, inshallah.
Jazakallah, sister. There's another question. How much about the question for midterm? So I think the brother or sister wants to ask how many questions are there in the midterm or in one particular exam, perhaps?
I'm not really sure about that, but I believe it's around 40 questions.
Right. There's another question by brother Ismail Abdul Rahman. Assalamu alaikum. I think this might be off topic, but will midterm exams marks be visible after test taken and before finals begin?
Walaikum assalam rahmatullah. Yes, brother, you will be able to see your midterm exam grades as well as review the questions after you've attempted them before the finals begin.
Jazakallahu khair, sister. There's another question by brother or sister Blue. Assalamu alaikum. Would we have to book the venues or will the midterm exams be done at home?
Walaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. No, the midterm exams will be done from home. As for the final exams, you will need to register for the center.
Okay, brother Yusuf Hussain asked two questions. Are the questions YRAM module 1 to 15? And sorry, not YRAM. Are the questions coming from module 1 to 15?
So, Brother Yusuf, this depends on each course. I believe I've already shared about how you can view the syllabus of the midterm and the final exams. So it depends on course to course. For example, the Aqidah 101 course has 17 modules for midterms. So I would suggest you to check out the video that that we have had day before yesterday, wherein I basically guided the students on how to check the syllabus. Or you could go over to your student dashboard, click on the relevant course, and keep scrolling down. On your right-hand side, you will see a section called Components. Under that section, you will be able to find the syllabus for your midterm exams.
Right, there are multiple questions about the MCQ type questions or theory based. So this has already been explained by you, sister, but if you can do it one more time about the MCQs or the theory based.
Sure. So the multiple choice questions, as indicated by the name itself, they're going to be multiple choice questions. They're not going to be theory based questions, except for the Bachelor's in Arabic Language Studies program.
There's another question by Sister Sobita Fareed. This semester finals will be in the exam center, or the chances of the exam to be online like midterms? So
yeah, so as announced, Sister Subita, if you've checked the IOU's announcements dashboard, which I definitely encourage all students to do so on a regular basis so as to be updated, the final exams will be happening in the centers.
right, Jazakallah, sister. There's another question with brother Latif. When the midterm exam for bachelor's degree begin and end?
Okay, so again, I will first encourage you to visit your student dashboard and check out the important dates that have been mentioned on the home page. But to answer your question, if you are from any bachelor's program except IAP and the MAIS, then the midterm exams are beginning from the 8th of November at around 12:05 a.m. UTC, and will end on the 14th of November by 6 p.m. UTC.
Alhamdulillah, there's a feedback by Sister Khatija. Inshallah, Sister, Alhamdulillah, feel calm now. I hope I can feel this in the exam time. Jazakallah khairan. There's another question by Sister Obed Khan, Brother Obed Khan. I'm currently studying bachelor's in Islamic studies from Saudi Arabia, but at the time of any final examination, I'll be in Malaysia. When can I change the centers? Can I do so?
Yes, Brother Obed, you can definitely change your exam center. Please contact the help desk about this, and inshallah, they will guide you through it.
Sister Shamsia Isyaku asked the question, Assalamu alaikum, sister. In some courses, what is shown in the video is same as what is the course text and audio. So you can replace the course text and audio as same as video.
Walaikum assalam rahmatullah, Sister Shamsia. I believe that's not the course text that you're referring to. That's probably a video transcript. So yes, if it's a transcript, which is it's like a word for word transcript of what was said in the video and the audio. In that case, yes, you can definitely skip the transcript. and just focus on the video.
Jazakallah khairan, sister. There's another question by Sister Amreen Khan. Assalamu alaikum. It's written in the course that 15% module test marks. What does it mean? 15% of total marks we get in our module tests?
Wa alaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Yes, 15% of the total marks in your module test.
Right, Jazakallah, sister. There's another question by Sister Shamsi. I see Yaku. Is there a maximum time of complaining to help us in each course?
No,
Complying
there's
or
no.
complaining? Yeah.
So if you're referring to complaining or raising any feedback, no, there's no maximum time for that.
Jazakallah, sister. Brother Ubaid Khan asked a question: how the Tajweed module midterm exam would be held?
So I'm unsure
yeah.
about that, Brother Ubaid. I'm unsure about that. Perhaps you can check this with the help desk, inshallah.
All right, Alhamdulillah. Brothers and sisters, if you have any questions, you can ask them now. Brother Ubaid Khan said, is there any possible way by which we can access the right answers of every module quiz we attempt?
Yes, I believe you can. However, you may have to check this with the help desk. So please drop an email and you can try requesting them for the access. And inshallah, if they approve, they will definitely give you access to the module quiz test answers.
Right, Jazakallah khairan, sister. I believe we have any few more questions. There's another question. Can I do all the exams on the same day?
Yes, if you are thoroughly prepared for all the courses, inshallah, you can, attempt them in the same day.
Any further questions, sisters and brothers, students? This is the chance. So otherwise, we will be winding up the session after that. If there are no more questions, so if there are any questions, please go ahead now. Okay, brother Obed Khan, will recording for the session will be posted. Unfortunately, not brother. This was a live session. So all these 3 live sessions have not been recorded. So, sister, I believe there are no further questions coming. So we'll wait 1 more minute, and then if there is no further question, then we can wind this up, inshallah. Brother Yusuf is saying, is it total of 40 questions from all? Perhaps this is about the total questions.
It's going to be 40 questions from each course, Brother Yusuf.
Brother Latif asked a question, what AIP course mean? Is it AIP or IAP?
I believe if you're referring to the IAP program, that's the Intensive Arabic program, a 2-year program designed for students to help them understand Quranic Arabic. So if you require more information, you can definitely check out our website, inshallah.
Right, so Jazakallahu khair, sister. May Allah give us strength and steadfastness in deen. May Allah bless all of us with knowledge, and may He benefit us, our families, and our communities with what He has taught. Jazakumullahu khairan. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Barakallahu feek. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.